Yeah. Okay, so this is created by Redline Dragon, man. This looks very, very awesome. Uh
Redline says ads. I think he's seeing ads right now.
okay. Let us know when you're back, okay? Let us know when you're back. So yeah, Twitch has like ads on on the platform, and it plays every like 1 hour and 30
Mm,
minutes maybe. And yeah, that's just
that's not
something
too
that,
bad. An hour and a
yeah,
half.
no, yeah, for every hour and a half, it plays like 30 seconds or something like that. But let me know if you guys are back. Let me know if you guys are back. Then I wish I knew sign language. Then it's all visual. Because right now they're seeing us on the tiny screen besides the big ad in the middle,
Oh,
on the centers.
interesting.
Yeah, so it's
Oh,
whenever. Yeah, I mean they're still seeing us, but they can't hear us. They're looking at the ads right now.
I see.
Yeah, actually.
That do you have to like is that like a default setting or something? Because like when I see ads, I just lose everything. Like I don't get to see the stream anymore.
Yeah, like on on the browser in the computer, the whole
Uh-huh.
the our screen it minimizes, and it minimizes to one side of the screen, and then the bigger side
Mm,
plays the ad, and then once the ad is done, it maximizes back up to the stream again,
gotcha.
to our show again. Yeah. But
Okay.
yeah, I need to learn how to program the ads to either I control it or turn it off. It's
Yeah.
yeah,
Because
I need to
because you
figure
can
this out.
set yeah, because like I've seen people where they're like, all right, guys, I'm gonna take a quick restroom break. And then as
Hmm,
soon as
hmm.
they leave, then the
Right.
ads play.
That's true. That's true. I think there's a way where I can play the ads like on command. Like you said, it's like, oh, I gotta take a
Mm,
bathroom break, or now that we're done with recap, we're gonna go ahead and play an ad right now. And then, oh, now we're
right.
done with
And then
design.
we'll
Let's
see you
play.
on the other end of the ad for
Exactly, exactly. So that we don't
Q&A or
do
whatever.
exactly, so that this doesn't happen when we're talking. All of a sudden, there's an ad, and we're like, oh, this is awesome, blah 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 blah, and then they're like, oh yeah, I didn't hear anything you guys said because there was an ad. So it's like, oh shit, sorry about that. Uh, oh, so Redline says back, got 4 ads. All right, so for my next stream, I will do my best to figure out how to control the ads and play it on command. So yeah, but what we're saying, Redline Dragon, is this looks amazing, and also Michael, that I told Michael, Redline, you are one of the artists that I watch stream. When you're drawing, I watch you draw while you stream, and you are one of the few people that actually still works in the traditional medium, which is a pencil, right? But he also plays around with the iPad, sketching on in
Cool.
Procreate, I believe, and he does a really good job. So this piece right here looks very cool. Do you want to tell us a little bit about this piece? Doo, 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 doo. But so far, I can see that it you started off with graphite pencil, and you colored it in.
Is it watercolor or gouache
Yeah,
maybe?
maybe it's a watercolor. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. I would say good job, man. Are
Yeah,
you
this looks
plan?
awesome.
Yeah, are you planning to do the whole thing? Are you gonna leave the right side black and white, and continuing on color on the left side? But yeah, this is cool. I think this is like a dragon head, right? This looks like a dragon head.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too.
Yeah. Red Line Dragon says watercolor. No, good job, Michael. You were spot on.
There you go.
That's very awesome. Yeah. A lot of people nowadays, when I watch them stream, it's everyone, most of everyone nowadays, it's all digital, myself included. There's only 2 people that I know
Mm,
that are doing it in traditional media.
wow.
It's Red Dragon here, as well as June, who's the girl that was in here before.
Sure.
Yeah, she does the oil painting, which is amazing. Oh,
Oh,
wait,
wow.
she does. Yeah, it's oil painting. It's oil painting. She paints in oil. She also does digital too. So Redline Dragon says it's not done yet. Got it, got it. Well, yes, please finish it and then share it with me again, dude, because this is looking really, really, really cool. Um, I guess the next question I want to ask is it just a personal project? Or is it just for yourself, or are you doing it, or is this for a commission, or a friend, or just for yourself? Yeah, let me know, man. This is looking good. So keep on going. Keep on going. Very, very cool.
Yeah, and doubly
Whoa.
impressive that it's in traditional media because traditional media is very unforgiving. Like when you're
Yeah.
doing it digitally and you're like, ah, I screwed up. Let me just
Hmm.
control Z.
Yep.
But
That's
with
me.
with real like, especially like watercolors, at least for me, watercolors really hard to get
Yeah.
to play nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
So bravo.
Have you done watercolor before? Have you like painted a lot with
Yeah.
watercolor before?
Mm, I've painted enough to know that it is enough of a pain in the ass for me that I don't like doing it.
Right.
Um, uh, I've tried, I've gotten like really good watercolors, really good watercolor paper, and I can't make the paper like not bubble when I try to do like a wet wash first. And
Sure.
then I'm trying to like get precise parts of the image to be pigmented, but then
Right.
it's spreading and inking everywhere. And because watercolor is you have to like work in reverse. You have to start with lights and then gradually apply darker and darker
Right.
components.
Right. Right.
So you have to know ahead of time where the highlight is and like
Mm-hmm.
don't paint there and then
Mm-hmm.
paint
Mm-hmm.
around it. It's my brain doesn't work that way. My brain is like
Right.
additive. And so I like,
Right.
oh, let me start with the shadows first, and then I'm going to remove the parts where I need the highlight. Probably just because I started off in, mostly with like pencil painting or drawing with pencils, which you could
Yeah.
use the eraser to do that.
Right.
But yeah, watercolor, I love how it looks. Like it looks amazing, but
Yeah.
it's I don't know. I would equate it to something like, being a horse whisperer or like an animal, trainer or something. It's like it's got a mind of its own. You kind of need to like know how it behaves
Right.
and and know how to get it to do kind of what you want it to do,
Mm-hmm.
but
Mm-hmm.
you can't go in there and be like, do this. Damn it, I'm trying to get you to you like that's not gonna work, man. You gotta know that
Yeah.
this is what it likes, and you gotta massage it this way and like,
Right.
sweet talk it a little bit, and then like so certain people like one of our buddies from Japan, she does watercolor really well,
Oh,
and has been doing it for years. And yeah, well, we could actually probably plug her. She's got a channel.
um, I
I
I
can't
have
remember the channel.
crap. I have her watercolor.
Oh,
I, I
Angelica.
Angelica, thank you. God, her name escapes me. I actually bought one of her
Yes.
paintings at the Japanese
Oh,
festival
nice.
fair. It is upstairs. I'll go ahead and grab it next time for our next stream. But yeah, we could definitely plug her Instagram.
Her in
Do you know her
it
Instagram at
is,
all?
yeah.
Okay,
It's Love Letters to Milo. Milo. Love Letters to Milo. And she's got a book out too, a watercolor book.
nice.
Yeah, but what she does with watercolor is really impressive because I know how difficult it is to use.
Yeah, I'm
Um,
sorry, Michael. What's her name again? Her Instagram name?
Love
Uh-huh.
Letters to Milo.
To
Milo.
love love letters to Milo. Who's Milo? Is it her son?
Uh,
Her friend? Her dog?
no, I think it's just, I can't remember exactly, but I think it's just a cool name.
I it
There
hmm.
might be a person associated with it.
Love
Here, do you want a
letters
link?
to yes,
I'm
please.
gonna put a link into the chat here.
Thank you. Oh, there's a dot in there. There, no wonder.
Oh, yeah, sorry, I didn't know that
Yeah,
that
no worries.
that was make a difference there. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
she's
Her
a watercolor user and has the patience for it, and I do not. Though I love the way it looks. Watercolor is like one of
yeah,
my favorite looking mediums. Hard to use.
yeah. Wow, she has 244K followers. Good for her, man. Woof.
Yeah, she's doing gangbusters.
Yeah, holy cow. I'm very honored to have one of her paintings. Oh, that's a nice one. I like landscapes. Landscapes are hard to paint. Oh yeah,
Yeah,
she does have a book. There
landscapes
you
are
go.
cool though. Yeah.
Beautiful. Nice.
So if you're watching this in the future, Angelica, you're welcome for the plug.
Yeah, we miss you. Dang, that's just these are all very, very beautiful. Dang, dude.
And she has a YouTube channel too that's probably linked in there somewhere where she actually shows like tutorials like how to do this stuff. Because some of these techniques are like they require a very like delicate and like learned hand, but the actual movements and the strokes are pretty simple.
Right,
But
right,
you just
right.
have to know like the right order and how much pressure to apply.
Mm-hmm.
That's another thing that's tough for me about watercolors is like it requires a really delicate touch, and I like to get in there and just like grind the graphite into the paper.
Yeah.
Um, so I'm pretty rough with my materials.
Oh, that's cool. Well, she's doing vlogs as well. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Nice. Oh, she looks great. Oh, sorry. Am I sharing my screen with you, Michael?
Not on Zoom, but
Oh, sorry
I can
about that.
kind of that's okay. I can kind of see on the stream. I mean, it's
Sorry,
blurry and
sorry.
it's frozen for me, but no
Sorry
big
about
deal.
that. My bad, my
It's okay.
bad. I let me share screen with you. Can you see now?
Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, she's also doing vlogs as well. That's great.
Cool.
Man, very, very impressive. Thanks so much for sharing this with us. She has 9.4K subscribers. Damn, that's
Man.
so good. So impressive. Oh man, I have a lot to do to get up there. Oof.
Yeah, I know. We got a lot of work to go.
Yeah. But yeah, sorry. With that said though, Redline Dragon, keep going with your art. Yeah, it looks freaking awesome.
Yeah. Absolutely, man.
Yeah. And so Angelica's work, hopefully after seeing this, it'll inspire you to continue on with your watercolor. Because yeah, I agree with Michael. Watercolor is so beautiful to look at, but super, super not forgiving at all to work with. It's just like you said, you have to more or less plan ahead of time in order to get the desired effect you want. Because if you don't know what you're doing, it's like once it's painted down, you're done. There is
Yep.
no control Z, which something that I've grown accustomed to. I've always told people that I am a non-committal artist nowadays. I cannot commit not one bit because
Yeah.
I
Like, now let me just
I
create a new layer and try
yeah,
this and see. Because if I don't like it, I'm going to turn that layer off. And then
exactly.
you end
And
up
you
with
can't
like 50 layers, and you're like,
yeah, yeah, exactly. And you can't just go back and be like, "Oh, I did my best," and but I'm sorry, you can't try a new thing on something you've worked on for a long time because once you try it and if it sucks, you got to like redo it again. So it's just like,
yeah,
oh
you
my
lost all
God.
that work.
Yeah, it's such a pain in the ass. But yeah, yeah. Anything else, Michael? Do you guys have any other questions, insights, advice, XYZ for us?
Or more art to share?
Yeah, we're totally happy to, stick around for a little bit, but if not, we'll probably call it a night for this Sunday, and Michael and I will be probably playing a little bit of Overwatch later on tonight. Yeah. Anything else? No? Yeah, yeah. If not, then we will call it a night. Thank
Thanks for
you
being here with
guys.
us, guys.
Yeah, thank you again. Before we go, let's check out if there is anyone we can raid.
Oh, yeah.
Raid. rating, because yeah, I keep forgetting to rate people. When I say bye, I'm just like, oh, bye. And then once I click end stream, I'm like, ah,
Like,
shit, I should have rated
oh,
someone.
I should have rated.
Yeah.
So how does that work? Do you just like see who's streaming, and then is there a button to say like
Yeah. Yeah.
raid?
Right. Once you're in the follow channels, like your friends who you're following, if he or she is doing a stream and you're ending, you could just send all your people over to their channel, right? Oh,
Cool.
King says, I have a question if you still have time. Yeah, go for it, King.
Absolutely.
Yeah, good to have you here. So good to see you, dude. Do, 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 do. And I do not have anyone to actually Sozo Makino. This person is doing art. I don't know what. But yeah, no, King, good to have you here, man. King is a DM.
You
If
read it once and then you board it.
oops,
Oh
Oh
yeah,
wow. Do you guys
yeah,
I
and
remember that.
also yes, and also he works for Delta as well.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, let me know what your question is. But yeah, are you planning to play any Overwatch later tonight, Michael?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, I'm good right now. I'm worried that I'm gonna get a little bit sleepy. But yeah, I'm good to play if after
Nice.
we're off here.
Okay, great.
King
Uh,
says, a question for both of you, or for you both about the other. What is it about your partner that made you say, yeah, this is the guy I want to work with? I believe in doing this with them. That is a really good question. You want to go first, Chris?
well, it's because of Michael's good looks. That's the only reason why I want to work with him.
There you go. Well,
But
yeah,
uh,
that's, sex appeal
yeah,
will get you real
yeah,
far, folks.
yep. No, I guess, I mean, I think we talked about this before. I've worked with Michael before, and I trust him, and he's super good at what he does. He's very determined. He always gets things done on time, and he always has, you know, has the he always takes the initiative to make sure that whatever he needs to do gets done. And he's a pleasure to work with. Very great attitude, great personality, not pushy at all. Because sometimes I've worked with people whose personality are kind of shitty and very pushy, and I don't like those personalities. And Michael is very laid back, but at the same time very driven. So working with him in the past has been a pleasure, and now that we're both kind of free at the moment, it is the time to utilize our similar personalities, I want to say, and then our free time. And he possesses skills that I admire, that I cannot attain, even though I will try to attain it, but I just can't. It's a great partnership. He is the half of the part of me that I need in order to complete whatever journey that I'm going on. And yeah, and also he's helped me a bunch with my finances as well. If you guys don't know, do not invest your money in like huge big corporations like UBS or any other, like, oh, put your money in us, we'll take care of your money. Don't don't put your money there. You just invest your money yourself in like Vanguard, and save your money, save all those fees, and put it inside a place where it's not sucking your investment towards the fees. Because essentially, like, for the past like 10 years maybe, all the money I invested, it only I only gained like 4% from my capital, out of the 10 years or 20 years. I forget how many years. It was just 4%. And I was like, what the hell? And then I looked at how much fees it was. It was like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars of fees that went into their pockets. So my money made them money, and it didn't make me money. So, anyways, long story short, Michael got like told me like about Vanguard, and invest in mutual funds, and stop paying money to those guys and instead save the money and put it in my money into my own account. Anyways, I'm totally off track here. This is something that I want you to talk about later on, or now, or whenever, Michael, on your channel, on our next channel. But the question is, why do I want to work with you? Is because of your personality. You work hard, you're very creative, and you fill those parts of me that I cannot do. For example, like programming and writing. All I suck at all those stuff. So working with you is like a dream, and that's it. I don't know why I got off to the tangent about finances. That always irks me. I want to tell
I
people
know.
don't invest your money in that. But I'm sorry. Go ahead, Michael. Your turn.
No, no, that very well said, and thank you for the kind words. Yeah, it's a good question because it's tricky working with other people, especially when you are in the capacity that we're working together, which is basically like partners on a business venture, really, because the plan is to get to a point where we have a commercial product that we are selling in a retail capacity. Um, and that's something I've been very reluctant to get into for most of my life, because I've in the past I have worked in that same kind of like, well, like with that same kind of intent with other people, and it kind of like fell apart and didn't really work out. And I'd seen it like really go sideways with other people who, in like a mentor space for me would say like, don't do that. Like,
Hmm.
don't get into business with other people if you can, and if you can avoid it, and especially don't get into business with friends. So I was always like trying to avoid it as much as possible. Um, but I've really turned a leaf, and I've kind of done a 180 on that because I've spent because I spent so much time kind of going down that path of like, okay, I got to do this by myself. I've got to be independent, one man army here. Can't trust other people because it, could potentially blow up. Uh, and I really went hard down that path. And the reality is, you can do that, but what you're going to be able to accomplish shrinks dramatically because there's only so many hours in the day, that you only have so many years in your life, you've only
Right.
got so much energy and capacity to do certain things. So kind of like what Chris said a minute ago, the ability to like have another person to kind of take on a certain amount of the workload and to bring skills to the table that you don't have, and to be able to divvy up tasks and divide and conquer. If you can find somebody that you like working with and that you can trust, it can it's for me, it's worth the risk. It's
Hmm.
very possible that, it is, especially, well, now that Chris and I have been working together for several months in this capacity, and it's been fantastic. Like Chris is also, and I can say a lot of the same things about Chris, that he's, really easy to work with, always gets his work done. I never have the worry that like I'm, going to come in in our next session, and Chris is like, "Oh yeah, sorry, man, I didn't get around to doing the thing. Like, actually, what was I supposed to do? I forgot." It's never like that. Chris is always, he knows what he's got to do, and he gets it done, and yeah, often has like extra surprises for me. So it's like, oh geez, only wanted you to do one of these models, and you did like five of them. Um, and I've worked with Chris a little bit, because even though we've both worked at Walt Disney Imagineering and both worked at Universal Creative on the same project, we were technically on different teams, for the most part. On Super Nintendo World, we actually did get to work together a little bit, and it
Finally.
was great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it
Finally.
took a
Yeah.
long time for that to happen.
Yeah.
Um, and it was awesome. Like working with Chris is great. He's super professional, knows exactly what he's doing. And he'll tell you if what you're asking is like, hey man, that's outside of my wheelhouse. I'll try it, but just like I'm
Mm.
gonna need to do some research or learn how to do this thing. So you never have that problem of like expecting something and not getting it. Another thing too is like, trust is really important, and Chris is very trustworthy for me. Like we've talked about like, finances, for example. We've gone into great detail about that.
Mm.
And the other thing too is, even though Chris and I have only been working in this capacity for the past like 6 to 9 months, we've known each other for like a decade. And the thing is, there's a saying that trust is built in drops and lost in buckets. It takes a long time to build up the kind of trust that you need to be able to say, like, yeah, I'll get into business with this guy. And trust that person enough to be, able to like go, because really, like, a business venture is in a lot of ways like a marriage where like you're
Right.
coming together to make a thing happen.
Hmm. Hmm.
And fingers crossed that it is going to be successful, and one of you isn't going to like cheat with the babysitter and then have a midlife crisis and run away and leave the family behind.
Hmm.
uh,
Hmm.
that's a very real possibility, and that was like some of the things that I had gotten like burned into my brain to like worry about with like working with partners. But I think if you can find somebody that you like working with, trust, and complements your skill set and has like the same sort of interest in terms of the path that you want to go on, the things that you want to make, especially in a creative capacity. Um, and the like fifth piece of that would, for in our case, would be also has the time availability to do it, because there are a lot of people that I would, also like to work with that I
Hmm.
know, but they're busy doing other things, or they don't have the time. Or if they do have the time, they're just not interested in doing what I'm interested in. Like maybe they don't really like video games.
Hmm. Hmm.
So if you can get like the stars to align in those capacities, and it's a person that you trust, uh, at least from where I'm standing right now, I think it's worth it. And, making the decision to do that with Chris was a pretty easy one for me, especially um, given how much I've worked, the times that I've worked with him in the past. And because he's such a good friend and I trust him and I know his work ethic, um, it was it honestly was a little scary, even with all of that, because it's like, hey, there's a certain amount where you know you're you're ceding control, a certain amount of control of the thing, because now it's not just you're not like the emperor of this little kingdom where you can say like, it's going to be this and these are all the decisions. You're just like,
Hmm.
well,
Hmm.
now you're giving some of that control to another person. They're
Right.
going to have input. You're also saying like, this is a thing that I would like to be this certain way, but I can't do everything. So I'm going to hand it off to the other person and trust them and say, please do a good job. I'm trusting you to make this happen
Right.
because I
Right.
can't do it myself.
Yeah.
That stuff's hard. That stuff's really hard. But
Yeah, yeah, seriously. Well
sorry to
said,
ramble.
Michael. No, no, no. That's it. You put it a lot more eloquent than me, and I keep forgetting that we actually know each other more than a decade now. That's such a long time, and yeah,
Yeah.
and between me and you, I am very blessed to be able to work with someone who like you said, complements our skill set. I mean, even though even though like you like video games, I like video games, there are certain aspects that, for example, like programming, the whole aspect of, designing, I'm not great at that, you're good at that, like I can draw, I could, do some art, and then, you could do the design part of it, and because you have a design eye, I don't, you could help me with that. You fill the parts of me that is missing that I can't because I don't play a lot of video games, so I'm just like a little bit ignorant of the fact that things need to look a certain way. So Michael, what do you think? And I definitely think that thank God you're here, or else I wouldn't be doing this, right? And to your point, I've also been conditioned to think that if I work by myself, I know I could just count on myself to get it done because I know myself, and that there's that, right? And however, I realize I can only do so much. I can't do a lot because the things that I want to do, big things, require good people. You need other people to help you get there, and to make a video game, shit, I don't want to, Unity, Unreal, but because you know how to do that stuff, that's freaking awesome. I'm blessed to be able to work on a project with you, and yeah, so it's been a long journey, but it's definitely well worth it. I mean, if we finish this game and then call it a day, I think, my life has been really blessed. But if we continue on making more stuff, I can't imagine all the stuff that we will make later on. So yeah, great
Well
question.
said.
Yeah. Oh, King also said, I'm happy you both have each other. I cannot wait to see what you two create. Working and collaborating is so much easier with the communication easy and organic. Absolutely. He also says, I work with my best friend at his computer store on the side, and we have been friends forever. That's cool. And he is a lot more relaxed when he has someone other than his wife that he knows he can trust unconditionally with things. Yep, like having the key to the store, handling thousands of dollars, staying in the store when he's gone. Yeah, that kind of trust
Wow.
definitely. It's hard to have that kind of friendship, right? It's hard to have someone you trust wholeheartedly, especially to take over a store handling thousands of dollars. That person trusts you, so that's great. And yeah, so having that partnership is super important. And again, I'm very blessed to have Michael as a design buddy, and hopefully we could come up with awesome stuff for you guys later as we go along, right? So yeah, that's a really good question. I mean, we talked about it just by ourselves, but we never actually explained to others as to how we met, how we started working together. I think we did. Maybe the first episode, maybe. Uh, but but yeah, it's always good to reiterate on our
Sure.
journey, how we got to where we are now. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna explain it yet again. But
Yeah.
definitely, I want you to talk about investments in the money. Maybe not
Mhm.
tonight, but later on. But just for tonight, a small recap is don't don't put your money in huge investment firms that will charge you thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars in fees. They'll never tell you that. They'll always say, "Oh, we'll take care of your money. Don't worry." But in fact, they are just sucking the fees right out of. They are sucking your earnings right out from under your feet. And if Michael didn't tell me, "Ooh, you should really look into that, Chris," till this day, I would still be losing money, and not having my money safely in, Vanguard, making money, reinvesting the earnings into myself and not spending it in the damn investment firm. So, really quick, do you have anything to say about that? Just to make me like say F you to those big companies, because I
Sure.
lost thousands and thousands of dollars on them. And
Well,
if it wasn't for you, I would still not be, making money for myself and still, making money for other people.
sure. I mean, yeah, that's a pretty deep topic. I could talk about it for a long time. I've gone
Yeah,
pretty
yeah.
deep, and I'm equally fired up about it, especially that public education systems don't teach people this, and they really should. This is
Mhm.
like fundamental stuff that people need to know to function in a healthy way financially for the rest of their life, really.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, the short version, though, would be with regard to investing in particular. So I guess I would say, like, I adhere to uh, J.L. Collins' kind of three rules for becoming wealthy. And if you don't know who J.L. Collins is, he is a blogger who wrote a book about finance, and it's really good. It's called The Simple Path to Wealth. I highly recommend it to anybody who has any interest in uh, coming to grips with their finances and getting things under control. His three simple rules are: one, avoid debt; two, um, spend less than you earn; which is basically just means like, if you make $30,000 a year, don't spend $40,000 a year, which is,
Mm.
kind of going back to number one, like
Avoid debt.
getting back into debt.
Hmm.
But even if you are in a position where you feel like you can afford debt, you really, there are very few cases where it makes sense to take on debt. In some cases, there actually are, though. Like there are a couple of cases where, like, taking out a mortgage might make sense. But for the most part, there's a lot of, especially like credit card debt, that almost never makes sense
Mm.
unless you know that you're going to be able to pay that credit card off every month. Don't do it because the
Hmm.
fees on credit cards are, it's shocking that it's not illegal. They're so high.
Mm.
So back to the three rules: avoid debt, spend less than you earn, and three, the difference between what you spend and what you earn, you're going to have some left over if you're spending less than you earn. What do you do with it? You invest it. That's number three. So avoid debt, spend less than you earn, invest the rest. If you follow just those three rules, eventually you'll become rich, you'll become wealthy. And the part that Chris was talking about just a second ago is that last piece, that investing piece. So a lot of people are very afraid of investing. They don't really, they think like, oh man, this is complicated. Like I need experts. I need to hand my money off to somebody else who understands this stuff so they can, take care of me. You can do that. But my perception of the financial industry and investing is a lot of that stuff that seems confusing to people is intentionally made that way by the people who run the financial industry because it is in their best interest for you to be confused and to throw your hands up and say, I can't do this on my own. I need your help. Here's my money. Because if you do that, that allows them to make a lot of money. It's
Mm.
extremely lucrative to manage people's finances, but it's only lucrative for the people doing the managing. It's not lucrative for the clients, for the people who are actually handing over the money to be invested. And the simple reason for that is it's very difficult to see the future. It's very difficult to beat the market. Over a long period of time, almost no financial analysts can actually do it. In fact, it is the further out you go, the closer to zero that number becomes. Like the number of financial analysts who can beat the market consistently for 10 years, 20 years, 30 years goes basically down to zero. So, what do you do instead? If you have the inclination to learn a little bit about investing on your own, um, you can learn enough that you don't need a financial advisor. And the very simple solution is basically what's called low cost index funds. Those are these, it's a special type of investment that basically just says, hey, we can't beat the market. And what beating the market basically means is being able to pick and choose the companies because you're going to invest in a company. You're going to say like, I think company A is going to be really successful someday. They're not doing too well right now, but one of these days, they got a new CEO. He's got great plans. Like this company is going to be going somewhere in the next 5 years. So if you invest in that company now when the stock's kind of low, and then that CEO does great and the company does well, then the stock price goes up and you make a bunch of money. If you can successfully do that and pick the companies that are going to be the winners and avoid the companies that are going to be the dogs, you can make a lot of money.
Hmm.
The problem is that that's nearly impossible to do. So, what can you do instead? Index funds take a different approach. What they say is, well, kind of like if you imagine the lottery, like winning the lottery, if you know that the lottery has five numbers and you got to pick the five winning numbers, and if you do, then you're going to win, $10 million or $1 billion or whatever it is. The way that you could guarantee that you were going to win is if you just bought every single combination of numbers. Just buy them all. Then one of them is going to win. That's kind of what index funds do. They don't try to pick the winners and avoid the losers. They just say, well, let's just buy every company. Let's buy every single company that's on the stock market. We'll buy a little piece of it. And the piece that they buy is relative to how big the company is. If it's a really huge company like Apple or Google, like, well, let's buy a lot of that one. If it's a little tiny company, that's something that nobody's ever heard of, some little startup, we'll buy a little bit of that. And that's all it does. And because of that, you don't need to have these financial managers who are spending all this time and trying to do research and figure out how to beat the system. And you have this big staff of people. You don't need to do that because it's just a simple rule: buy every single company, and the percentage you buy is how big. It's basically the market like capitalization of that company relative to the entire stock market. Like if
Hmm.
it's a
Hmm.
lot, then you buy a lot. If it's little, you buy a little. And because of that, they can keep their costs crazy low, like mind-bogglingly low. For comparison's sake, a lot of financial managers will charge you between 1% and like 2 to 3%, maybe even as much as 5% to manage your money. And that might seem like not really that big of a deal. You'd say like, oh, that's not that bad. 1%, like I'm not even going to notice that. The problem
It's
is with
huge.
investments, it makes a big difference because that you're losing that 1% every year. And every year that you lose that money can't grow. And
Hmm.
so
Hmm.
in the very first year, you lose that 1%, but you don't just lose that 1%. You lose that 1% plus all the money that 1% could
Potential
have been
growth.
earning next year and the year
Yeah.
after that, and the year
Yep.
after that, and the year after
Hmm.
that. Um, but with index funds, and I know I said this was going to be quick, and I've already been talking for like 10 minutes. I'm
No, you're
sorry.
good. You're good.
Once you get me going,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
can't. I'm coming to a close though. So a financial manager is between like 1% and 5% cost, and that's like of the funds that you've given them, but there's also other fees. Like you have to pay them, management fees and like baseline fees and all marketing fees and all this stuff. With the low cost index fund, like with Vanguard, if you do VTSAX, which is the Vanguard total market index fund, that is like 0.05% per year,
Hmm. Hmm.
which you still have to pay some things because they have people who are administering the funds for you. But the amount of savings alone that you
Astronomical.
get from that, yeah, is enormous. And
Yeah.
the other thing that's cool about it too is it's guaranteed to perform as well as the market. And if you look at the market overall as a whole over time, it it always goes up. Well, it doesn't always go up. It does have dips where like there's a crash. There's
Hmm.
the stock market crash of in the at the end of the
Oh wait.
1920s.
Yeah.
Yep, the financial crisis in '08. The pandemic had another one like right at the beginning of that. So that's going to happen. But if you zoom out far enough, that chart just goes up.
Right.
And so if you just buy everything, then you're going to just ride that wave up. It's going to be a little rocky along the way. But if you put your money with a financial manager and they guess wrong and they go with a company or companies, a portfolio of companies, they pick a bunch of companies that they think are going to be winners. And if they end up being losers, well, then you're going to underperform and you're going to lose money. You're not going to do as well as the overall market. So it's not any different than gambling.
Hmm.
Whereas when you put money into an index fund, it's not quite this. I mean, that you're going to be affected by the gambling aspect as well. But really, the gains that you should be focusing on and paying attention to is the gains from the market as a whole growing through technological advancement and
Right.
companies, innovating and becoming more competitive. That stuff's real. Like there is a real, like when you buy a piece of paper, like you buy stock, like it's not just this piece of paper or this, like a lottery ticket. It's a little piece of a company where there are real people making real products, selling it to real customers. Um, that's the piece of the stock market investing puzzle that you're investing in through index funds, not the gambling part of it, which is by its very nature a crapshoot.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with all of that said, um, that's to put a bow on all of this. That's kind of a brief, like, glimpse into the realm of like managing your finances in such a way that you can avoid some of the big pitfalls that Chris was mentioning before with handing your money off to other people. Because the other thing about like probably the the closing argument that I can make for this is if you don't learn to manage your money, Other people will happily manage it for you. And when they do it, you're not going to benefit. They
Yeah.
are.
Yeah. Yeah. And yeah, thank you so much, Michael. And I only know about this was because you remember in Japan, during one of our lunch break meetings, we it's like a class like, oh, share
Oh yeah.
something during lunch, and because
Oh
of
yeah.
your right, and because of that seminar, or not seminar, but because of that class, that lesson about the VTSAX Vanguard investment and uh, lesson that you gave made me look at my UBS account and then looked at how much percentage they were charging me, and then because I didn't even think about it. I was just like do 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 do. I sat in. I'm like, holy crap! All right, maybe I will take a look. And then when I discovered how much I really lost. I mean, how much I made, but I didn't. The money that I made didn't go back into reinvesting in my own portfolio. Instead, it went to fees, and the obscene amount of money that went to them could have be reinvested, and I lost so much time with the whole compound interest dealio. I was so upset, and I don't know if you remember, Michael, but I came to you. I was like, "Holy shit, this is crazy!" Like my
Yeah.
the UBS like people are like sucking my financial profits dry, you know, and throughout the X amount of years I've been with them, I only made like 4% of my money back, and that's like shitty growth for that amount of years. I forget how many it was. And when I looked at the fees, it was like thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars that they took, which could have been reinvested into my own account. So guys, make sure you guys are managing your money correctly. Manage it by yourself. Don't let other people manage it for you. Stay out of debt. Don't buy things you can't afford. Save money and save it in a smart way. Do your research, of course. I'm definitely not an expert. I think Michael is an expert. So yeah, definitely check out what's his name again? Collins? I forgot his first initial.
Yeah, J.L. Collins. Here, I'll type it
JL
in the chat
Collins.
for you.
Yeah, JL Collins. And Michael, I actually put in a YouTube link. It is linked to the Last Week Tonight with John Oliver. He basically talks exactly about how much financial institutions take money away from people like me, and he does a really good visual job of, you know, showing the compound interest like growing every
Oh
year.
yeah, I think I've seen
Yeah,
this one
yeah, I sent it to you. I was like, this
with
is exactly
Kristen
what you
Chenoweth
were.
is in it, right?
Yes, 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 yeah.
Yep.
And I sent it to you, and I was like, this is exactly what you were telling me about. And John Oliver covered it, and it was so true. And yeah, I was super
Hmm.
fired up about it. And yeah, again, thank you so much for, you know, getting my money out of the stupid institution. I mean, my it was my aunt that, you know, got me into it. I mean, she had the good objectivity of me investing
Yeah,
my money, but
exactly.
it was a shitty place to invest it in. Instead, I wish you would have told me do it in index mutual funds at Vanguard. You know, there's almost near zero fees. You know, I mean, you said 0.05%, 0.05%, which is
Mhm.
not nothing compared to like 1 or 2% of the amount of money that I've been charged. So, um, yeah, lesson learned. Man, I wish we could do more of these like talks about things we wish that, you know, we would have learned as a child or when we're in school, or, you know, and dealing with money and learning Photoshop, you know, learning Unity, you know, just pitfalls we should avoid to help people, you know, save some time and energy. And, you know, time is definitely something that is super valuable. People can't get that back because, you know, the whole compound interest thing, like, correct me if I'm wrong, a kid who's 18 right now who invests their money at their age, he'll save more money than me investing ton of money right now. And you know, as apparently like the growth, I can never catch up to him because he's much younger, and by the time I die he's gonna like make more money than me. I've seen a chart, something about the whole compound interest that's like you need time for it to make your money grow. And because I'm only at a certain age, I'll never catch up to someone who has a whole bunch of time, investing money.
Right.
So I just feel like so dumb. I just like, damn it, I wish they would have taught this to us in high school. But no, what do we get taught like a whole bunch of stuff we never learn. It's like, well, how do
Yeah.
you calculate the hypotenuse? Like, who gives a shit? You just go Google and find out. So I'd rather we learn more about things that are actually more important in life.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know
Yeah.
exactly what you mean.
Yeah. King says this is great. I definitely didn't mean to add like 40 minutes to the stream. No, no worries, dude. I know you two are probably tired, but I'm definitely here absorbing everything. Yeah, no, it's I.
Awesome.
This is exactly like why we have the Q&A stream, and don't worry about like adding 40 minutes to the stream. I don't care as long as we're you know being able to share the knowledge and
Yeah.
wisdom, especially for Michael with the whole investing your money and everything. That's super super important. So I'm very 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 grateful for your question, King. Thank you so much, man. Really really it's great to have you here. And you're one of the few
Yeah.
people that are in here who ask very really insightful questions, and I totally appreciate that, dude.
Keep them
Yeah.
coming.
Yeah, totally. Um, but yeah, if there's any other questions, I think we're good. If you guys have any other questions, please let us know. But Michael, are you good?
Yeah, yeah, I think so. Oh, while we're waiting to see if
Hmm.
any last questions here, um, to one of your last statements, yeah, I think we can earmark some time to talk about stuff like this, in some capacity, either here or maybe this becomes a component of the joint channel that we're working on
I
getting launched
wanted
soon.
I want it to be on the joint channel,
Okay,
because I think that's more appropriate there than I mean, honestly, it doesn't really care. Information is information, but I think
sure.
it's good to have that in the joint channel because that I think that channel is a place where people can just be there and just chat about anything and everything. And yeah,
And I have some ideas on how to like tailor it for the theme of that channel that I think
perfect,
would be appropriate, which we can talk about maybe offline.
nice.
Um, and then we'll talk about it online when that
Mhm.
channel goes public and live.
Yeah.
Hopefully
Uh,
soon.
we're, we're very, very excited. We're still working on the stupid logo. I know that's like not important at all, but I think we landed on we landed
We're
on like
close.
a
We're
on,
real close.
yeah, we're really close, but I mean, we have something that we can kind of more or less use. It's not like perfectly done or anything, but if we want to kick it
Right.
off like next week or next week, we can do it. It's just there are just a few more things that Michael and I need to talk about, like how we want to run the show, and how to format it and everything. I mean, right now we have the recap design and Q&A. That more or less can remain the same or it can change. We haven't really discussed that yet, but like topics like this, like investment and trying not to spend more money than you make, that's things like that. I think that's very very that's great. That's awesome that we can talk about that stuff. So but to answer your question, it doesn't matter if it's here, it's over there, but it would be so much cooler if it was on the joint channel. It's just a
Sure.
cool factor. It has nothing else to do with, I mean, we could do it here too, but um I yeah. Mm,
Cool. Well, looks like we're good. I'm not seeing anything else in the chat.
mm, mm,
Um,
mm.
so that's it. I'm all good, man.
Cool.
This was a good
Uh,
session.
as am I. All right. Again, I don't have anyone on my stream who is on my Twitch channel who is
So there's
streaming.
nobody to raid.
Yeah, there is no one to raid. Yeah, she's gone. She's offline. Um, what I can do is I
Ugh.
can just go into the like kind of art itself and then find someone to raid who needs an extra few. Oh, actually, shit. We
Did we
got
die again?
we died. Yeah, we died again. We got disconnected.
Oh my gosh, we were
Oh,
going for another
jeez.
hour.
I know. Let me go back on stream again. Jeez, man, this is just not.
Reconnect just to say goodbye.
I know, I know.
So long, folks.
So long. But yeah, this is great. Like so many people, there are so many various art channels on Twitch, and there are so many people watching art, their
That's cool.
channels, which is great, which is freaking awesome. I love it. Yeah. Nice. Wow, these people are really, really good. But anyways, yeah, let's just find someone who has not a lot of people on their channel, and then we
Yeah,
can
give them some love.
actually, yeah. Well, I that's kind of funny. I don't know if we should rate because we only have like 2 viewers, but it doesn't matter. Doesn't
Oh,
matter.
yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
Wait, and one of them is probably me.
And the other one is me too. So
Oh no. Well, yeah. Well, I mean,
it's
in that case, if it's just two people, like it's probably fine to just log off.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I'm trying to find someone with like super super low viewers. So when they do get
Like
like two
one,
viewers,
so that
yeah,
way we can
yeah,
one or two. We can like,
yeah,
we doubled your
we
viewers.
doubled, yay! All right, I'm doing Midnight V Beach, Midnight V Beach. So we're coming for you. And those who are still watching, I appreciate you guys staying here. And
Thanks for
sorry
being with
for,
us.
yeah, sorry for dropping, man. God, this is our third drop, second drop maybe.
Yeah, I
On
told you the
tonight's
only
stream.
way we are
There you go. Hold on. Raid.
making me work 4 days this week.
Oh my god.
All right, give me 1 second, Michael. We are raiding in 10,
Or not this week, this month.
7, 6.
Bad.
Don't
Two
get me started.
raiders.
Right. All right. We are raiding.
8 hours at least.
Sweet.
5 each.
All right. Good night, guys.
20 hours.
That's still horrible.